Hello and welcome to the Gray-Haired Writer. I hope you're doing well and you're ready for some great writerly advice. But first, sip of coffee. Oh, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to portray a tough female detective in your crime fiction stories. You don't want her to be a flat character, and I don't mean there, so you get your mind out of the gutter on that one, would ya? Your female detectives, and uniformed officers should be like your male characters, and meaning they should be well-rounded with depth in her life. You can and should write her with vulnerabilities and some nuanced weaknesses that will make her feel real and relatable, because we all got some weaknesses and vulnerabilities. Me, coffee in the morning. Always have to do that. So, here we go. 1. Give her emotional walls and maybe trust issues. This could be due to a past betrayal from either a partner, lover, or system she serves. She doesn't trust easily, and this could isolate her and prevent her from forming meaningful relationships. Let's say your detective refuses to rely on others, even in situations where she could possibly need backup. Have her go to the scene of a crime after the CSI team is done, or maybe before, or whatever the case may be, has done their investigation, and maybe the criminal has returned. They have been known to do that, to relive what they have done. And now she's alone with a dangerous criminal who attacks her before she can draw her gun. Or maybe she's cruising the streets, where a predator has been known to stalk his victims, and perhaps she makes herself look like his preferred victim type. And then he sets his eyes on her as his next target. See how that can work out. Number 2. She's haunted by the past. In a lot of crime fiction stories, the detective is haunted by a past case. And there will be a future video on that, on how to improve this trope, trust me on that. She could be traumatized by this and have developed some coping mechanisms that might not be all that healthy. We've done that ourselves all the time, so you can probably guess, but let's just do that. Anyway, or maybe she lost someone she loved, a parent, friend, child, or sibling to crime, which is why she became a cop. She might have had her case gone cold. It was a murdered child, and this gives her nightmares, which also influences how she handles current investigations. Next up, but first, coffee break. Just nothing like coffee in the morning, is there? Anyway, number 3, workaholic to a fault. Have your female detective bury herself in her work. She does this to avoid any personal struggles she might have. This could be problems in her marriage or anything else. Have it make a negative impact on her life. This could be her health due to not eating properly or exercising. It could also have an impact on her relationships with her life partner or friends. For example, let's say she's on an investigation and possibly she misses her child's sports game or a concert recital, which causes her family to resent her job and produces a guilt reaction. She's saying, damn it, I can't believe I did this again. But anyway, number 4. 4. Physical vulnerability. The reality is that men are generally physically stronger than most women and are more likely to be able to use brute force against a criminal when needed. So, she will possibly not be the stronger one in a fight. This will require her to use strategy and fighting skill and agility instead. Of course, the little crack over the head with the baton probably helps in that situation too. But there's also perhaps in the past she was injured in a fight and now she struggles with chronic pain and mobility. She may try to hide this from her colleagues, and while still dedicated to her job, she could possibly struggle with self-doubt, not knowing whether or not she could really win a fight against another suspect criminal, or especially if it might be a man she has to go against. Number 5. She may have battles with addiction. Police often have to deal with people on their worst days. A victim of any type of assault, or the family of a murder victim. Not to mention the criminals themselves are generally, shall we say, not very good people, usually. This can cause her to choose any number of unhealthy choices to cope with the stress of the job. All this can include alcohol, painkillers due to the injury mentioned earlier, or anything really along those lines you can think of. Maybe she gets addicted to exercise or sex or any of the illegal drugs she could get from the evidence room. For example, though, let's say after she gets home from work, that one drink turns into 5 every single night, but she justifies this because she still gets the job done, closing cases as good as, if not better, than anyone else on the force. Number 6. A complicated love life. Romance might be difficult due to the job. When entering the force, police are generally on a shift work schedule of rotating days and nights. This can limit the people she might be able to hook up with, and that type of work schedule makes it hard for other people to relate to her that's not doing a similar schedule, like firefighter or paramedics or anything like that. That and the demands of the job when she becomes a detective might still cause problems at home. She could also fear vulnerability to investigating domestic abuse cases, or anything along those lines. To show this, she keeps pushing away someone who truly cares about her. She may see love as a distraction or weakness. Coffee break. Good thing I'm in a union, so I can have coffee breaks so many times, eh? Ha ha. Anyway, number 7. She's at odds with authority. Have her be headstrong and continually clashing with her superiors. This could be due to feeling like she has to prove herself more than her male colleagues. Or maybe have her be the maverick detective, or kind of like a female Martin Riggs from the Lethal Weapon movies. This example could be she defies orders to protect an innocent suspect and puts her job at risk. Maybe she actually protects the innocent suspect when everybody else thinks the person's guilty, so maybe that's what she did. That's put her job at risk. Anyway, number 8. She may fear of becoming like the criminals she chases. A lot of times, we become like the people we hang out with most. It has been said that we are the average of the 5 people we associate with most often. As in if, well, somebody's a goofball, you may become a goofball yourself. Your detective understands criminals all too well. Maybe she had a friend or family member growing up who engaged in criminal activity, and now she's great at doing the job of catching criminals because friend or family member who was a criminal gave her the insight into the criminal mind better than some people. Maybe one time she took the law into her own hands and either didn't get caught or she got away with it, and now she finds it hard to stop. Sure could be maternal issues. I mentioned earlier that being a workaholic could cause problems at home if she has kids and misses important events in her children's lives. But there could also be where a criminal might use her children against her. Maybe the criminal takes one of them hostage in exchange for her destroying evidence. Something along those lines. Maybe. So, there you have it. My 9 tips on how to portray a tough female detective who still has vulnerabilities. I hope you liked the video and that it helps you with your writing. Don't be long, don't be stranger, and come back in 7 days. Also, make sure to check out my other women in crime fiction videos in the link below. Links, actually, because there's more than one. And you can also check out my video on how giving your female characters agency. That should be coming up soon around there, wherever the end card comes up. Anyway, have a great day and week. See you in 7 days. So long, my friend.